inhale gratitude through the heart, remembering that it's such a vibrant light of gratitude. You draw earth energy up from the center of the earth. You might consider a peach colored light. That peach colored light is a tremendous healing light that's also related to our new chakras, the 12 chakras. The peach is actually number 11 and the opal is number 12. But many traditions use this understanding of connecting, all the way into the universe with the center of the earth, so that we don't stop thinking that, knowing that we are part of the whole thing. It's all one big thing. Take a moment to acknowledge that we're changing neural pathways to be able to see this, visualize it, and live it. Now, I'm in constructive rest. You might be in Shavasana. Bring the fingertips together and thumbs to the heart, and just know that this will always connect you when you forget. And if you need to empower all your chakras, if you're feeling ungrounded, this will ground you. If you're feeling like you just feel like a little scattered, fingertips together, thumbs to your heart. Basically it's energy medicine based on Ayurvedic nadis, where you use the mudras and the places you put the hands and how many positions you can put the hands in as a healing art. Then bring the thumbs to the third eye, and remember, we are working with the depth of this third eye and the expansion of sensory perceptions with inspiration, imagination, integration, and intuition. And to really listen to the physical, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, and relational intuition. And to be inspired by all 5 parts of the self. And to integrate all 5 parts of the self and what they're saying. And to have a greater imagination, being able to hold a vision of the new earth. And here I want to bring the civil rights movement into our hearts, because today all over this, throughout this country, there are celebrations for the variety of ways that Martin Luther King affected our culture. Then tap the top of your head and know that he was part of the beginning, and as we saw the beginnings of this change of understanding of paradigm, we saw it 100 years ago. There wasn't much action taken 100 years ago, but tap the top of your head and open the arms up to represent those other chakras we now own. We have the soul star chakra, which creates and gathers energies of connecting the 7 to the rest, to then the universe chakra, which is a conduit to be able to get further out to the cosmos, and then to the galactic chakra, which is that understanding of the galaxy and of ascended masters and other kinds of beings that may be in the galaxy that we, that as a culture, we just now are beginning to acknowledge. And then out to that 12th chakra, the color opal, the galactic, the divine matrix, or the divine dimension, or the divine understanding of what is this word divine and how do we apply it to all that is in our life, in our own little personal human existence. Then bring the hands to the heart and see all of this is just simple movements that are also profound. Bringing the hands together in prayer position is a universal human action, prayer position. And in many cultures, it means I honor you. You bow and nod to someone else. But you first have to start with the self-love and the honoring of yourself, which has been this over and over, comes in many forms telling us this is what we need to do. And we go, yeah, I'd like to love myself, but look at all these things keeping me from that. So if you do have power animals or spirit guides, helpers from this imaginary realm that some people think of as imaginary, and other people have gone to and feel the reality of it, knowing that there are lots of dimensions. There's all sorts of things that we are becoming aware of through quantum understanding, quantum physics, and our quantum powers, described well by Jean Houston, if you ever want to look into her work on quantum powers. So you honor yourself and you ask for the ability to totally forgive yourself for any possibility of things that need forgiving, and also to start anew in this new year, 2023, on this day of honoring all aspects of all beings, honoring equality, and that you are equal with equal potential of every other being on the planet. And then release the arms and lengthen the legs out and stretch from the real arms, from the heels of the hands to the heels of the feet, and hold your breath. So holding the breath here is just a different breath pattern. And you hold the breath, and at the same time stretching. Oh, a lot of these activities are that we do in my sessions are all also related to expanding and igniting and connecting with the vagus nerve. So we're always working with that, and always working with, also what I'm learning is we're always working with things to open the throat, which helps with our sleep. Then bring the feet flat on the floor and the arms down by your sides, and cerebral spinal fluid balancer right off the bat, because you can do this in just a few seconds, and it is profound as you start to understand the profundity of it. We're balancing, and we're balancing the center, the core, the inner workings of this physical form that we're in. We're balancing the energy system, and we're balancing the circulatory system, the nervous system, the immune system, through the white blood cells, through the lymphatic system. We're balancing all that goes up and down the spine. So the spine being the key to our existence. And I've often said this, you can live without arms and legs, but you can't live without the spine. And maybe, there are ways that are being developed as we learn to replace parts of the spine. Then pause that rocking and pull the knees in. So now then you start to explore the spine. And I know for myself, as I've gotten older, I feel more of the spine. And as sitting has become too much of my life, I also feel that. So breathing light into that spine as though you can shine from the inside out and the outside in. So consider that you have an aura on the outside, 7 layers of this outer system that we've known about for a long time. And then we have the inner aura around the spine that also has 7 layers. Reverse the roll of the knees, and you're actually massaging the base of the spine. And as you are pulling the knees in and maybe lengthening it out as you do the roll, you are going to connect all the way down to the sacrum, not quite to the tailbone itself, but down to the sacrum. And this is the beginning. This is how we open the whole body. Then pull the knees in and bring the head up to the knees, and you're making the whole curve of the body, supporting the body on that mid back, so the thoracic spine, and the lumbar spine, and you're catching as far down to the toes as you can, or at your knees or under the knees, or you can use a strap. And if your head and neck don't do this, then your head is on the floor and you're just still pulling up like that. Or you can put a cushion under your shoulders, which will also lift you up. These suggestions are all because we are in different age groups here, and maybe shoulders and neck, and though that is a place of constriction that will never perhaps be open and well or free from the constriction. Then 5-pointed star. to remind you of light that goes out there from your center. So the navel radiation, which is another piece of the understanding of this, physical nature of the body, is we have a belly button, and it's actually a navel radiation understanding in the solar chakra of the third chakra, which is that bright yellow. Now, in the 12 chakra system, things are a little different now, and we're combining the yellow, that sunshine yellow, which is divine wisdom, illumination, and enlightenment, and the crystal pink, because in some traditions, that third and fourth chakra, they're together, and that crystal pink is divine love and the female heart and the energy of oneness and reverence for all life. And we work with that third chakra connecting with the fourth. And you can imagine as your arms are out, just filling the body, imagine light going out your fingertips, imagine light going out your toes, light going out the crown of the head. And the body's filled and shimmering with light, inside and outside, light going out from the spinal cord. We're changing neuropathways to know who we truly are and applying the new physics, moving on from Einstein. Einstein knew a lot, and he knew what the new physics would bring. And he predicted the new physics, but was not the one to solidify it and understand it. And we're still learning the equation of the new physics. Bring the feet to the floor and drop the knees side to side. Now twisting the spine in the most gentle way. And the practice, it's gentle, moderate, or vigorous. Feet can be wide apart. Feet, knees, and thighs can be on top of each other. Top leg can cross over the top. The bottom leg crosses over the top leg, and it pulls you down to the side. So, feet wide, feet, knees, and thighs on top. Pull the knees to one side, turn the head opposite. Decide what's most beneficial for the arms. Putting the arms over your head will release the trapezius and the levator muscle. Putting your arms out to the side does a little bit of that, but not as much. And putting your arms down by your sides, for some people, is the most relaxing place to go. You can also bring that bottom leg, cross it over the top, and it makes a much more energetic or fitness level twist. Now, the other thing is to use a block between your knees. And I always show you everything so that you can really take care of your own body in the age group that you're in. Every decade is a little bit different. And our flexibility changes, our body chemistry changes. And also whether you need to stay in a more meditative state or you need to work harder. Then drop the knees to the other side, do the same thing. I'm going to show you this on this side because it's in the screen, that you can put a block or a cushion behind your back, and it just brings you over a little bit more. So it's another way of supporting a deeper twist. Some of you know the knee down twist, which is left leg or in one leg straight, one leg is bending over the other with a bent knee. But they're all kind of similar in what they do to the body. Breathe into this twist and feel it. Grounding into the earth, knowing that we are connecting to the earth to draw earth energy up to teach us the non-separation, to understand and change the neural pathway of the separation and non-separation, or the duality of that understanding, and to shine our light. We're twisting the spine to wring it out of all the different possible tensions. Maybe you'll get a little click in one of the vertebrae as that realigns itself. And then unroll. Then hands down by your sides and come into a back bend. Inhale up, exhale down. So this would be, somewhat fitness yoga. I just like you all to check your, you don't have to get up, just check and see if all of you are muted. I forgot to do that. So you can move around and we don't have to hear anything. So inhale up and exhale down, or just lift the buttocks up and down, or take a block or a cushion and put it right under there and just be in supportive bridge. Just being in supportive bridge can be enough. And that's this whole practice is like one of those practices of, well, what's enough? And I am enough. Whatever I choose is enough. Doing gentle or restorative yoga is enough. For some of us, like me, what I feel like I need is a little bit of strengthening, especially for my core. And my arms need to continue to have range of motion because of injuries in the shoulder. So consider, what your body is saying. Then hold the posture, arms held above you, and you can hold it in stillness. You can grab the block and not hold it. You can, if you have the flexibility, the block becomes like, oh, okay, well, let's try to get up there on the edge of the block. Can you go all the way up on the tip of the block? And then fitness yoga says, press into the feet and really work those glutes and get those glutes through this process, just simple pulsing of the hips towards the ceiling to help the back body stand up, to help us stand up straighter, to help it support the front body. Then hold. Another little strengthening for the core, and you may be done and you may need to come down, rest, walk in place. Lift one leg up, walk in place. Another good core strengthener, or it tests your core out, and then pause. Then come up onto your toes. And just notice what happens when you lift your heels and what's going on in the legs and what we're really working with. Hold and take a breath or two. And then lower yourself down. Lengthen out the legs. Reach the arms above the head. Yes. And then release. Now there's a lot of core strengtheners from here. And today it's just sort of like the beginning of the week. And I say, oh yeah, I need core because I haven't done it for 2 days. I like how we do it every other day here. You can bring your hands behind your head and just press into the lower back and lift and blow. Notice that exhale is going to tighten the abdominals a little bit more. Now you can also, and just make it a tiny little lift, look at the ceiling, or you can bring your feet off the floor in table position, they call this, or you can lengthen out the legs. See which one's right for you. And don't force it. It's not about repetitions in our class. If you have a certain number of repetitions you like, then you can learn what they are. In Pilates, we usually do 8. And like fitness trainers, they usually say, do as many as you can until you feel the tiredness or you feel the strain. And they usually say 10 or 12. Then hold for a moment, press into the lower back, squeeze at the pelvic floor, see how that changes things. And then pull in. Take a deep breath in with that sigh. Open the throat. And then we're going to do that side to side to cross the brain, but also to get the lateral part called the lats, the sides of the body, to get a little bit of that. And again, the crossing of the brain is just cross crawl. And you can just lift one. You don't have to lift much. And that's the most gentle. Then the elbows, knee to elbow, and then lifting the legs up. We keep getting a little bit more strengthening, stronger, lengthening one leg out if you want. Blowing on each side. As many repetitions as feels right, because then we're going to hold one side, then hold the other side. Take a breath. Then pull the knees in. Now, all the sounds that you might be able to make with your voice, including you heard me go, they all stimulate a different chakra. They're all vibrational. So when you're, doing yoga, you can play with sound. There's a sound for every chakra. Then rock yourself up. And drop the knees side to side. And again, I'm going to show you, we're going to do a mermaid series today because we haven't in a long time. And the mermaid means you sit to the side. Now, sitting to the side for some of us means using a cushion, and you just lift up high enough to feel more comfortable. Now, another thing that might happen is a knee doesn't work, so you put the leg out. But you can also do this. We're going to do the dive here, and you can do this on your hands and knees. We've done it before. It's a spinal roll, but instead we're going to do it in a slightly twisted position. And I'm going to use my fists to protect my wrists a little bit, and you dive into the knee. Now, if you find that it's stiff or your little bit of sensation, or we'll call it sensation, but it's what we often call discomfort or pain. But the sensation in your pelvis might be a little extreme. So you can also do this sitting on a chair as you just go up and down with the spine. But hands and knees is good. Then change directions and breathe with this. Inhale, exhale. I was leading with the crown of my head. Now I'm leading with my chin. And meanwhile, I'm strengthening my arms. So I'm transferring the weight of my body onto the arms. And then rise up or raise up out of the crown of the head. And a little active isolated stretching. And again, if you're on your hands and knees and doing this, remember there's a spinal twist to do where you come down on the shoulder or on a block or a cushion. But we're going to, today I'm going to lead this one. And you can change, because I know you've come, all of you on the screen have come to yoga so much that you know other ways to do the spinal twisting on your hands and knees and the spinal roll. And look over that right shoulder. Keep the eyes open, let them twist around. Our tendency a lot is to close our eyes. So opening the eyes and using the eyes in this position is particularly powerful. And then a little vagus nerve exercise is to look around over that right shoulder. Then keep your body in this position, but look to the left, look to the right, look to the left, take a breath, look to the right, take a breath. But don't move your head, just your eyes, and then come back around and look to the right and then come back around. Now here, we're going to come down onto our elbow and lift that back leg. You can also come down on your head and hold your head up, or you can be down on your arm. So see how much there is to do. You can be up on your hands, down on the elbow, down on the arm, and you're just going to lift that back leg and then kick it out and back, and just see if you can. We haven't done this in a long time. I need to come down on my elbow to be able to do this. And then bring it around to the front and reach up out of the crown. And again, you can take that cushion and here, and we're just going to sit for a moment, and you're going to see, I can see, and I go, you know what? I'm going to put a block under my knee. And here it's a stretch. So you reach the arms up and you come down as far as your body will with a flat back. So for some of us, it's not very far. You can always have a strap always at your mat, and you can use a strap to pull forward. So we're just working it. You're just going to see what's going on in that leg right now. If it doesn't work to have that knee bent, you can straighten out that leg, that opposite leg. Take a breath. Breathing, relaxing, feeling, witnessing your own self doing yoga, and then let it go. Oh, a quarter of already. Then loosen over to the other side. And if you needed, if this is not a good position for you, if you haven't tried sitting up on a cushion, then try it. If there's something not good for one of the knees, then consider how you might change it. And again, we're going to do a spinal roll, and you can do it on your hands and knees. And down, and we're transferring the weight onto our arms, diving into the knee. And then changing direction. And again, if you're doing restorative yoga, or if this is too much, then you're going to just take your time to figure out what feels most right to you. And that's where you breathe, relax, feel, witness yourself, and allow whatever you need to do to make yourself comfortable. Changing that direction, feeling the strength of the arms. And then pause, reach up out of the crown of the head, bring that right arm around, and spinal twist. And if you're on your hands and knees, you lift that arm up and you swing it underneath your, and come down on the right shoulder. So we're active, isolated stretching, and then around and look around to that left shoulder. And just breathe. Notice how the breath will stretch you, and just relaxing everything you can, seeing if that works for you. Again, if it doesn't, do a spinal twist in a different way. And the eyes stay open and go around. So you're, working with that eyes, looking around over that left shoulder. And then eyes can go to the right and go to the left. Take a breath as you switch. And then hold, work with it for a moment more, and then come back. Lift the back leg. So what's going on down here? We did leg stretch series on Friday. It seems like we've been doing leg stretch series on Fridays a lot. And then kick out, back. How's this leg different than the other leg? And then swing it around the front and lengthen it out. And again, for some of us, we need to sit on a cushion, so take the time. And again, maybe you need to prop up the knee. And reach up out of the crown of the head, get as tall as you can, and then fold forward. Now, it may not be very far. Hands can just go down, and you just sort of look at your knee. So, still the crown of the head trying to stay in alignment with the spine. It's not about rolling your shoulders down. And you may, again, have a strap and put it on the ball of your foot. And you can pull in and just see, okay, well, what's my knee really feeling right now? I'm not my knee, the back of my leg, my hamstring. Take a couple breaths. Now, one little stretch like this is not going to necessarily release that or work with it in a micro way of the micro connections there that are tight. So you want to, consider, okay, it's a awareness raising of what your knee or your leg is feeling like. Then come onto your hands and knees if you're not there already. And we're going to come up into downward dog because that's good for the backs of the legs too. Tuck the toes first though and stretch the feet. We haven't done this. And if you can, You can do this seated in a chair too, with just tucking the toes and then finding the stretch of the feet. But here, some people can come and just sit right up on their feet. A lot of weight of the body on those feet, and a lot of people can't. So you do where you can to stretch those feet. So you work with it and just stretch the bottoms of the feet. Then point the toes, and you're also stretching the bottoms of the feet in the other direction as you come back. And remember, this too can be challenging. You may want to come down on your elbows, and you may not want to go folded knees. You may want to stay up and just see if you can point the toes. And here you're seeing if you can bend the toes, so this is all raise your awareness. What's going on in your feet? Then come back to hands and knees and tuck the toes behind you and come up and then stretch out each leg. See if you can get the heel down to the floor or towards the floor. You don't have to get them down. I'm using push-up bars to be able to bring my wrists straight. And that lifts my hands a little bit so that it's easier for me to get my feet down. But you can also play with downward dog, holding with the strengthening of the arms, and then, bending the knees and seeing how the body can work with bending the knees. And then straighten the legs and heel walk, holding one side at a time, and take a breath. And take a breath. And then find yourself there. Then walk to your feet to your hands, or your hands to the feet, and just hang over in whichever one of these is right for you. Supported squat is either hands on the knees, elbows on the knees, or ragdoll, or standing forward bend. Some people like that feeling of standing forward bend, but it's not really great. Some of our bodies can't really do it because of tightness behind the legs or in the quads or wherever. So ragdoll is a great one to go to. Breathe into the lower back as we press into the feet, and then press in, bring the arms up with you to help with dizziness very slowly, and a little back bend to bring your hands to your heart. Now we don't really have a lot of time. We only have 10 minutes left, but that was a good Monday morning. Now, there's also a lot of people doing service work today. There's a river cleanup happening. There's some celebrations, marches. There's all sorts of things, because we are in another time of recognizing civil rights and how endangered they can get easily. So shake out the body. And breath of joy. Okay, we all know it. So it's a 1, 2, 3, and you get to choose how far down do you want to go. So 1, 2, 3, and ha. Use that ha breath. Ha, and it's ha, 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 ha. And you can go all the way down to the floor if you want. When you do ha, down to the floor. Ha, 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 ha. Bend the knees. Ha, 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 ha. And last time. Ha, ha. And then hook up. Third finger in the belly button, third finger at the third eye. And this is the energy medicine hookup for dizziness, stability, and seizures. If you're a person or know people or ever see someone with a seizure, you can put your third finger in their belly button and the third finger at their third eye, and it will help. Proven. So shoulders up, back and down. Standing tall. Into the tree today. So left foot, toe on the floor, hands at the heart. This is the simplest way of doing the tree. Most of us can do this even on, like, I'm on a big thick mat. Now you can lift the foot up, look at something not moving on a mat. I can't do that. So I'm going to go back onto a floor. And you can also hold onto a wall. So you can always have a wall or the back of a chair or a table, and your arms can go over your head. So you're seeing, what is it I can do? Now, some of you may be able to, let's see if I can do this, may be able to take that foot, press it into the inner thigh and balance. That may be an option for some of you. Hands at the heart. Focusing on something not moving is about focus, concentration, and balance. And this is a practice that brings focus, concentration, and balance into our life. So on the mat, off the mat. Go to the other side. Again, toe on the floor. My toes are holding me up, so it's very much just the bent toes that we stretched, and hands at your heart. Could put your hands over your head. You can play with them. The mudra here, let's see if it can be shown. Yeah, on the darkness of my shirt, you can see you lace the fingers and the pointer fingers it up. This is the mudra for, the body is a vessel for my spirit. And again, going to that, you may be able to grab the inner, the foot. Now the foot, you want to make sure it's above the knee if you do this, and below, I'm not very straight. Let's see, where is that? Above the knee or below the groin. You don't want it on the knee. And then you can go to finding the balance, or you can bring it down below the knee. And this is also, the tree and what it represents is so, there's so many different metaphors that come out of the work or the understanding of trees. And we've played with them a lot. And then let it go. Shake it out. Do a little twisting, shake it out. Shake the buttocks. If you haven't figured out how to shake the buttocks, really work on it to get that, get the glutes loose. And then we'll come back down. Have ready, there's a lot of ways to end. You can end in Shavasana, or you can, we've been doing the reclined goddess with support to open the shoulders. So just see if you don't have a cushion, or you can roll up a blanket, or know that, you can use, a bolster, a big bolster like this. I have a little bolster that I like better. So dropping the chin to the chest and roll down the spine. Step the feet back into downward dog, just to process consciousness. Feel it down to the knees. And then you can go back into child if you want, or you can just turn over, and you can do restorative goddess or reclined goddess or not. Let me show you without the let's see, we're going to go this way. Without the cushion, you just have the soles of the feet together and your arms out to the side, and the knees open wide. And you just rest there, opening the inner thighs, giving them a little stretch, but also allowing this very sparkly posture of the feminine, the divine feminine. And just thinking of all of us as divine feminine. Surround yourself with the light. And again, the restorative posture is 2 blocks, or something to hold up the knees, and something to open the shoulders. Whether it's a rolled up blanket, an extra thin mat, or a let's see, or cushions off a couch. I've tried it in all ways. You can just sort of explore, what do you have in your house, and how can you use it to help you open the shoulders in a position like this? And then imagine, go back to the light, reconnect with your power animal or spirit guide. And remember, it can be just something that is in your normal life, or it shows up and it has a profound feeling to it. Find the breath. Go back to gratitude. You are embodied light. Go back to our soul star chakra. The soul star chakra is the color in this new chakra system is aquamarine and magenta. If you can, you can see that that's like the violet color of the crown that then kind of breaks apart into two colors that make that violet color, which would be aquamarine and magenta, but they have a slightly different energy to them. So in that soul star chakra, what we have is divine perception and clarity, harmony, balance, and confidence. And so that harmony, balance, and confidence is part of that also collecting or channeling the 7 chakra energy up through the soul star chakra to touch the higher chakras that we're now acknowledging. So as we go up to the final chakra, which is the opal, bring that opal, bring your light that you know you are, and shine it through the opal. And see what happens to the light in the opal. See what your light does to an opal. For those of you who are new to the visioning part with power animals or spirit guides, consider if you can come up with this image of whatever power animal you have being present with you now and all during this practice and in the beginning of this practice and during the first meditation, and seeing if you can just keep that animal close. And if you haven't looked it up in the world of spirit guides, it's easy to Google. And then if you have a spirit guide in human form or angel form, you can also look those up. A lot of us have a grandmother or somebody in our family who has passed that often is also very close to us. So if it's new for you, just imagine yourself as light, and that is a light energy that you embody and that's always with you to consult with the qualities of that particular energy. Mine happens to be an owl. That's my primary animal. And then I have a lot of other animals that have come over the last 40 years. So then bring the hands together at your heart and back to Namaste. I honor myself that I took the time out to do this practice. I honor you and all of the other women that are connected here in this circle, and all of the other women in my other circles and my own personal deep female friendships that I can bring to this this type of energy, this feminine heart that we're reclaiming on the planet. And the planet Earth is reclaiming its femininity as well. And all that is in the elements of the understanding of the feminine. May we have peace, peace, shalom, salam, pak, shanti, pache, mir, malohia, frieden, hantang. May we have peace, and may what we do here go out onto the world and make more peace, and honoring today all the different activities around the country for freedom, for equality, for peace, for bringing people together, for honoring each other, and for our civil rights. And many blessings to the families, the family and legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. and what he has given to all of us. Then releasing that and lengthening out the legs, and just seeing if this works for you as you come out of this posture, rolling over to the side and either just rolling over onto your side in fetal posture or in Shavasana, coming onto your back and just keep feeling the releases of everything that releases. Then considering if you just need to stay there for a while.